Are you about to lead a Bible study group through embracing joy? I'm Jean Wyland, but it's all about Him. Welcome to a fun place to get serious about Bible study and to learn more about my Bible study, Embracing Joy, an 8-week transformational Bible study of Habakkuk. If you've decided to lead a group through my study, Embracing Joy, first, let me say thank you. Thank you for believing in the study enough to share it with your ladies. I trust that it will truly be transformational. And I say this not because I wrote the study, but because in the study, we work through the book of Habakkuk and God's word transforms. My words don't have power. God's words to his prophet do. To help you lead the study, I suggest you listen to my previous episode entitled, Are You About to Study Embracing Joy? I created that episode to give those who want to study Embracing Joy an overview of how I structured the study and what they can expect from it. This episode is for leaders. I'll share tips with you for leading a group through Embracing Joy. Now, as I shared in the previous episode, the study is essentially divided into 3 parts. The first week is for introduction. Weeks 2 through 7 are for deep diving into Habakkuk, and week 8 is for lingering. And I talk about that more in that other episode if you are wondering what I mean by that. During the first week, you and your ladies are going to learn the transformational Bible study method that we use throughout the study. This method has made a massive difference for me and for so many others who have shared with me their experience of using this method. To help learn this method and to use it for future studies, I created free worksheets and samples that you can download and print from my website, jeanwyland.com. So go to the Embracing Joy tab to find the downloads. One of the worksheets helps us memorize the 8 verses. I've made an episode with tips for memorizing the verses, so listen to that one. The other sheets are for the Bible study method. I also have episodes detailing the method. The free worksheet packet on my website includes a sample of a completed worksheet that shows how I've used this method when studying a verse. Now, I suggest you practice studying several verses from this method before you meet with your group, if possible, just so you can be familiar with it. If you don't have time before your first meeting, that's fine. It's in the book and in podcast episodes. It's best for you to be at least a week or 2 ahead of the ladies so you're familiar with the material when you meet. The lessons are simple and they're not time-consuming, so get as far ahead as possible. As the title reveals, this is an 8-week study. But if you don't have 8 weeks available, you can have the ladies work through week 1 and week 8 at home. Week 1 is the introduction and background of the book of Habakkuk, and that's all very important information, but they can do that at home and then discuss it when you come together. Week 8 allows us to marinate in the truths that we've learned in the book of Habakkuk. I've heard it referred to as a bonus Bible study because of how different it is. I believe this lingering time is so important for us so that we don't rush away and forget the things that we've learned too quickly. But it is something that they can do at home if you're pressed for time. I hope you can meet together for all 8 weeks, but if you only have 6, this is a good option. Now, I know several Bible studies who actually meet for 9 weeks. They meet an extra week so they can come together for a meal and share the most impactful truths that they learned through the study and how God has been using Habakkuk in their lives since they began the study. Now, as far as kicking off the study, there are 2 ways I recommend. If you have another idea, I would love to hear it from you so that I can share it with others. The first way is to meet together and hand out the books, Embracing Joy, which, by the way, ministries can get a discount on buying Embracing Joy from Our Daily Bread Publishing. Go to their website to get details on that. Now, in your first meeting, you can use this time to hand out the study and introduce the study to your group. You could play the introduction podcast episode during the meeting and pass out the worksheet packets. If you've had time to study the Transformational Bible Study Method, a great activity for your first meeting would be to practice studying the first memory verse, Habakkuk 2:14, together using the method. All you need is a whiteboard, or everyone can use a blank copy of the worksheet from my website, or honestly, a plain piece of paper works too. Just draw a line down the middle of the paper, and then everyone open up the Bible to Habakkuk 2:14 and read it out loud, and then start calling out the truths that you see God is revealing about himself, his character, nature, and ways in Habakkuk 2:14, as well as any truths about anyone or anything other than God in the passage. Now, I explained the method in detail in week 1 of the study. We don't study Habakkuk 2:14 in week 1. That comes later. But you and your ladies could study it together in your first meeting if you like. Another way to kick off the study is to have the ladies get the book and work through the first week on their own, and then come together for your first official meeting. At the end of each week, I give discussion group questions for you to work through, plus the memory verse to recite. So you might enjoy pulling out the whiteboard or paper and studying Habakkuk 2:14 during that meeting. And then each week, maybe do the same thing. Use the whiteboard or paper to study that week's memory verse together. It's fun to work together to pull out the truths God put into his word, and to practice memorizing God's word together and studying his word together. As far as memorizing the verses, please encourage your ladies to follow through with this valuable discipline. When my mentor led a Bible study, she loved to make us recite our memory verse as we are coming in the door each week. We had to recite all the previous week's memory verses too. Now, if the group was big, she would tell us to grab a buddy and recite to each other, and then we had to check in and tell her that we did do it. Now, I strongly recommend that you try this with your group as they arrive each week, or when you break out into the smaller discussion groups of 2 or 3 people, have them recite their verses to each other and all the verses that they'd been learning up to that week. Finally, if you or your ladies have any questions, reach out to me on my website, and I will do my best to answer your questions in an Embracing Joy podcast episode. Now, thank you again for being willing to lead a group through Embracing Joy, and I pray that as you and your ladies work through the study, abiding joy and peace will fill your hearts to overflowing as you come to understand and believe the truths God taught Habakkuk. If we'll trust and respond to these truths like Habakkuk, we will rejoice like he did, no matter what we face tomorrow. I'm Jean Weiland, but it's all about him.